Hello everyone, it is me. Actually, I'm going to be doing a review of Hazbin Hotel Season 1 because the season 1 has ended yesterday. And I thought I would do a review on it, just to say my thoughts on the series as a whole. Well, it's just Season 1. I know I'm kind of getting confused. I know series like the whole entire seasons when the series... It's confusing. Anyway, so what did I think about Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel? I thought it was alright to good. It did have some issues though, which I'll talk about today, but I'll start off with the good parts. The voice acting was quite good for the most part, to be fair. One thing I didn't like though was that Killjoy was now voiced by Brandon Rogers for some reason. Like, the only reason why I think they did this is because in some of his comedy sketches he actually plays his CEO, who sounds exactly like Katie Killjoy. But then again though, only like the people who were aware of Brandon Rogers could get that reference, because I understand where it was from because I watched it before. I watched the CEO video years ago. But other than that though, Katie Killjoy voice, I forgot who his voice actor is called, but she was so good for the character, I think though. So I really don't think we should have changed, not necessarily change the voice actor, but have someone with at least a similar voice to Katie Killjoy in the pilot. And I did hear other people agreeing with that. It just didn't sound right in my opinion. Vaggie, I will have to say I did like Vaggie's voice more in the pilot because I think this is certainly noticeable in not season 3, but episode 3. Her voice kind of constrained me because it sounds a bit higher. I think Vaggie's voice sounds much more natural because I think it's a bit deeper. And certainly when she's shouting, for the most part, it sounds a bit off, in my opinion. I don't know. It sounds similar, don't get me wrong, but I will say I did like Vaggie's voice in the pilot more. But other than that, I think it's alright. All the other voice actors were good. Like, keep in mind, even though I'm kind of ranting about some of the voice changes, I still like them. They're still alright. They're still good. But I'm just saying that some was a bit better than others. So other things I like, well, the music was quite good for the most part. I did like, there are no songs I actually didn't like. Some of the songs was kind of forgettable, like, I think Respectless might be a bit overrated, but Loser Baby, Hell Is Forever, and which is the other one? I forgot the other one. Poison, certainly. You cannot forget Poison, but I think some of them was... I liked Hell's Greatest Dad as well. That was kind of the head bopper as well. But I think it's kind of songs that you get put off. Like, it's first time you hear it, it's good, but afterwards it kind of gets a bit old. But still a good song, though. Some of the song like Whatever It Takes, still not bad, but not as good as people are saying. But well, that song again, I forgot what it was called, but it was in episode 5 near the end. It was still a good song, but it's kind of forgettable. But no, none of the songs were bad. What I'm trying to say, I did enjoy them. Okay, so more on the good parts, but no, not sorry, but one of the things that I'm taking all the negative parts out. I'm going to say what I did like before, so sorry about that. I don't have a script, as you can tell. Some of the pacing was kind of bad. Certainly, I think in the earlier episodes, around say episode 3, certainly is the case, where it was kind of just extremely fast paced. Because I think it had two plots in it. With Alistair going to the meeting with Carmilla, as well as Vaggie trying to teach them to trust each other, teach all the people looking for redemption, Sir Pentious and the others, etc. I think then it shows the issue with it because it's really fast. Not really fast, it goes a bit fast, which you can kind of tell. You can tell now that Busy Pop's in the same script, which isn't really a good thing. That is one of the bad things about Busy Pop scripts. They do kind of go fast paced, which you can tell from Hell of a Boss. So that's something I'll have to say or rant about. So yeah, but I will say though, the episode where it mainly focuses on one plot, for instance, Masquerade, Hello Rosie, and the season finale. I forgot what it was called. I usually go because it really is better because it usually focuses on only one plot, which is what I like about it. Another thing as well is that I think as a whole, I understand why we did have side plots in the episode, because if they didn't, it would just seem kind of alienated, the whole entire cast. All the characters would just seem kind of alienated because we'll only have that kind of one plot. Won't really be able to interact with each other, which I do think was the point of episode 3, was to have that, just have them kind of all all kind of talking together, because it's potentially about trust. I think we're trying to make some character building. Although I will say though, episode 3 is probably my least favourite of them all. But I will say though, like Masquerade is certainly my favourite episode out of all of them. Maybe for them a bit edgy, but I did like episode 4 with Angel Dust and Valentino. I think that was quite good because it kind of felt like what Angel Dust was going through. Although I think another thing as well, like people complain about this, but I think it kind of was certainly an issue at the start with like Camilla, Fox, Valentino, and Velvet being introduced as well as Zestial. So many characters introduced at such a fast pace, like, and to be fair though, they didn't really play much off a role as a whole, as would be expected. Like Camilla just kind of was in episode 3 and came back in episode 7 out of nowhere. To be fair, so I'll have to say that it was kind of an issue, and I could understand it. But same thing with Vox. I don't think much of an issue with Valentino. Velvet was kind of like came out of nowhere, but she didn't really have much of a stake in the story, which some people say for better or worse. Because why you could argue, well, she didn't really do much as a whole in the series. She did show the head, and that's about it, the angel's head. But I will say with Vox, it seemed like it was that she was going to play a much bigger role when he was only really in episode 2 and episode 8. But I will say though, I do like Fox's Vox actor though. I think that was certainly a really good choice for him, for his character. Because I wasn't really going to expect him what Vox would sound like, but I do really like his voice in it. So yeah. One thing I do like, however, was my favourite character had to be Alistair. And the reason for that is that he was quite entertaining throughout. Like, I did like him. I did really enjoy him. In it, he was very entertaining, I would say. So Alistair certainly, he was my favourite character before, he's my favourite character now. It was really entertaining. And I do think, though, as a character, it was the whole entire series. People say who is the most evil character. Most people say Valentino, who's all the most threatening. But I will say Alistair, because the thing about Valentino, it is kind of going off topic, but we'll explain why I like him so much, is that you kind of know what you expect from Valentino. Yes, it's more realistic, like, you're more likely to see an abusive partner than you would a cannibal serial killer radio hoster. So I couldn't understand that Valentino was much more of a realistic antagonist, but with Alistair, it really is kind of like, you don't know, because he isn't really harming anyone in it, but he's a serial killer, he's evil. So, and one of my favourite scenes had to be when Husk said, "Not the only one on the lease," and he got really angry. Well, he didn't get really angry, he still kept his smile on. But someday, I do hope eventually he does lose his smile, because that would actually be quite scary if he does lose his smile in the series. At one point when he's getting really angry. And he just kind of like, like SpongeBob, when he do those really close-up shots of Alistair smile, of Alistair with a frown. I think that will be really good, but that did actually get me by surprise, and I was actually there like, oh, this is getting interesting. Because of that, because, you didn't really expect to see that from Alistair, because Alistair did really not do anything. He did cause some issues, like he was clearly sadistic, but in certain aspects, but not to the point where of that you would see. So that would certainly by far one of my favourite scenes of season 1 for sure. That was really good and memorable. Another thing I liked was the issue with what people were discussing was there were so many like side stories, you could say, with it. With, who killed the angel, where has Lilith, why isn't Lucifer talking to Charlie, the angel just puts time with Valentino. But Alistair, where Alistair has been, was by far the most suspenseful. Because the issue was, this is going into kind of a negative, like, it was way too soon was the reveal who killed the angel. It was Camilla. And I did actually watch people review this, and I did have to agree with it, because I wasn't actually watching reviews from fans. I was actually watching it from like ordinary people who didn't really have an idea on it. And most of it was kind of negative, which I will get to later. why I can understand it. I don't hate it. I thought it was alright to good for series. But one of the things, one of the reasons why it was so good, because it didn't actually explain what happened right there and then. Because it was like, because there was a thing, there was like a part about who killed the angel at the end of the episode. But it was explained in episode 3. So it kind of ruined it as well. Same with like with Angel does, like you kind of already shown who Valentino was in episode 2, sorry. So it wasn't surprised Valentino wasn't the way he was as a bad, awful person. But it was suspenseful throughout what happened to Alistair as well as Lilith. And we still don't know. Which I really like, we don't know. Because I was expecting we would know around the end of the series of season 1, but we don't know what happened. So I'm really looking forward to see that in season 2, what actually happened with Alistair and where he was gone. And we do know that Alistair had the plan to take over Hell, which also shows that he isn't really there to really care. He even admits it in the song at the end, like he wasn't there. He wasn't protecting Charles to be altruistic. He was doing it because he was being forced to by Lilith. And that what I did like about it, that he's certainly going to think. I think he's certainly going to play much more of an antagonistic role in season 2, which I'm looking forward to. And I think going to be certainly a very interesting plot twist. And I do think Vox is going to play a much bigger role in season 2 as well. And certainly because I'm not sure if this is the case. I don't think it is the case, but once his staff broke, he was certainly much less powerful. He was much less powerless. Much more powerless. Sorry. So I remember hearing it in the past that his staff doesn't really matter if it's broken or not. He still is powerful. But if it did change, because he was from old live streams, it could show that Vox might be a much bigger threat. Because we still don't know the power of Vox. He can certainly hypnotise people, but whether in a fight with Alistair he could keep up, I'm not sure. But maybe without the staff, he could actually be quite a lot of trouble for Alistair. Adam I liked in it. Adam was good. I did like Adam, to be fair. He was quite good. I did like how he was kind of like an arsehole. It made a lot of sense since he was the first person to ever exist. But I did like him though. And part of me was kind of agreeing with him because I'll explain it later, but hell is forever. They did have their chance at the end of the day, which is going more into heaven, which I'll explain later, which one part I just didn't really like at all about season 1. And has been probably just the canon as a whole. But I did like, though, another thing I did like was when Luke arm got ripped off, because when Vaggie was saying like, oh, you made your chance, it's pathetic that you're not begging for mercy. I thought, oh, it's kind of, oh, come on now. I thought like it's kind of a bit pathetic, but once her arm got ripped off, I thought though that was quite an ironic punishment, because now she's disabled now with Vaggie, so I thought that was kind of like an ironic punishment. Another thing I did like was Lucifer to an extent. He certainly wasn't my favourite character, but he is kind of interesting because I thought he was going to be like just a villain or like a good guy, which is, he kind of goes a bit too in one direction of being a good guy, which I find I think it would have been better if it was a bit more nuanced, which I'm hoping they do elaborate more in season 2, because there's still that chance for him to be a bit nuanced, but he's kind of like he's certainly prideful, which I did like, because I do think the season Hazbin Hotel made him look a bit too much like a good guy, but he did show that he was a bit prideful and egotistical for the sake of it, which makes sense, as well as him being kind of like a weirdo, kind of like a loser to an extent, having depression. So he certainly still isn't a good person. He's kind of just like I said before, loser, which I think is quite interesting, point to go to Lucifer, just being kind of a guy who's obsessed with ducks and just like to spend time alone because you're too scared to talk to people, which shows kind of how pathetic he is as a person, which, is an interesting way to show Lucifer in. Now, what didn't I like about it? Heaven is probably my biggest gripe with the series as a whole so far. It's because we're just so predictable, because right at the start of season 1, it shows that it kind of just ruined the premise to begin with, because it already says that the reason why the extermination happens, it's not because of overpopulation, as it originally was. It's because they're too scared of hell rising against them. So that's why we do it. And I heard people ranting about this before, and rightfully so. What is the point of the series to begin with about rehabilitating sinners? If it's about them not right, about trying to not let them rise against heaven to begin with, ruin the whole entire premise to an extent because of it. And also, if that is the case, what's the point? The overpopulation thing made much more sense. Like that reason would make an alright plot twist if it was actually just because of them rise, because of heaven not wanting hell to rise against them. Would have been okay as a plot twist, but not as the first thing you see in the series. Really isn't so. Kind of ruined the premise, and also it just made the fact even further. What's the point of rehabilitating them? And also, in episode 6, when they went to heaven, they show Angel Dust being somewhat kind, sticking up for his friends and sticking up for himself, not taking drugs, or hard drugs at least. And I'm like, and Charlie's like, well, he's doing all the things you say, Adam. Why isn't he in heaven? And I'm like, Angel Dust in life was a part of the mafia. Yes, maybe she was saying that because Adam was being kind of an idiot and not being really precise. But I was always kind of scratching my head like, by hell standards, Angel Dust is probably a good person, but by real life standards in the world, he's an utter scumbag. He was part of a mafia, probably selling drugs, killing people probably. He's still a scumbag. He still is. So I never got why they did that, because he still is a horrible person by Earth standards. Like I said before, by hell, maybe he's a good person, but that's still not enough for him to go to heaven. Sorry, he still is a bad person. Yes, he might be trying to change, but he still probably killed people in life. Like, yeah, maybe he was kind of pushed into it by his family, by his mob family, but he still killed people. He still had free will at the end of the day. So I really don't get why that was such a big premise on it. Same thing with Sir Pentious going to heaven. Like, what's the issue with that? Like, first of all, it kind of made... I'm still intrigued to see how they do this. Like, I'm still open-minded to see how they actually do this, but what's the point? Because it was I'll be honest though, it was kind of funny how Sir Pentious died. I thought it was going, if anyone was going to die, it was going to be kind of like an over dramatic scene, but he was just like Adam just kind of like pointing his finger at the ship, and it just disappears. I did like that, so I thought that was somewhat funny, but also another good thing about it, because I'm getting a bit negative. Hazbin Hotel is funnier than Hell of a Boss, because 99% of Hell of a Boss jokes are sex jokes, as Hazbin Hotel jokes are 98% sex jokes. So I do find Hazbin Hotel the more amusing show. But back on topic is sorry. The same rules still do supply to Sir Pentious as well, because he still is a bad person. Just because he sacrificed himself doesn't mean he's still extremely good. Just like 6 months ago, was committing genocide essentially, and this happened at least 12 times according to Alistair at the very least, probably killing a massive amount of people, and we don't know what he did on Earth. We really don't know. So just because he did that, he still is a bad person. And I don't get how is he on Earth, because we don't know that maybe for instance someone was protecting in the past, for instance. This was like a hypothetical, was protecting themselves against the Exorcist, defending their friends from them, for instance, and they got killed. Would that mean they would get sent to heaven? Maybe because, I don't know, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Was it because Adam maybe put a spell on that, no matter how good a sinner was, they still couldn't go to heaven? Maybe because now he's dead, he actually, all the sinners who do change are actually allowed to go to heaven. But one thing I will say is a pro is that it didn't go through the whole through the whole reasons of like Heaven being actually evil, because I'm kind of rolling my eyes like, oh my god, this gonna be edgy shit for the sake of it. But there is still a bit of nuance to it, and we like at the end of the day, we do not know what this is only season 1. I do hope we get some more like Heaven, called. That is one thing I really didn't like about it for the most part, was Heaven was kind of underwhelming. I was just really just kind of disappointed in it, because it just kind of made no sense in my eyes. I think we could have done a lot more with it, but for the most part, though, I do have hope for it. I think they can certainly change and just explain Heaven a bit more. I didn't mind Sarah as a character though, because she wasn't like going to be completely evil, what I was expecting. She was actually kind of like, seemed kind of like a morally grey character from not showing her daughter Emily what the Exorcists actually do. But I did enjoy it though. And the plot twist of Lilith being in Heaven was quite interesting as well. I did enjoy that as well. I thought that's interesting. So Lilith isn't in hell, she's in heaven. And I think we're certainly going to see her be like the main antagonist, like Adam was in season 2 for sure. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Oh, sorry, actually, one thing I do have to say about it though. If you're going through this blind, or considering watching it blind, please don't, I would say, because I was watching lots of normal reviewers who aren't really Hazbin Hotel fans, and they were kind of confused in it, because they probably didn't even watch the pilot to understand what was going on, which I really think they should have actually done like an episode of like a recreation of the pilot at least, because I think that would have explained a lot for new viewers, but I digress. Because of that, and I've seen lots of normal reviewers being kind of confused like what was going on, because for me, I had the advantage of watching the Hell of a Boss series and reading the comic dubs. So for anyone who actually wants to actually go in and have the best experience possible, do watch the Hell of a Boss series as well as reading the comic dubs as well, because that will probably give you a decent look of what is of the world, as well as watching some like Hell of a Boss universe explained videos as well along with it. I will say, do not go through this blind, because that's something I will have to say isn't good marketing wise for new viewers. Is that it just didn't. It was fine for me because I understood how the world worked as well, because of that, because I understood the series and the universe. But don't go for it blind if you don't know a lot about Hazbin Hotel. Another thing is though, the last gripe I do have with it is that the fight was way too easy for the sinners, because it looked way too simple. Like, I'm surprised no one did this before in the past, but it was too easy. Like, it certainly wasn't like piss easy, but it was still easy enough. And the fact that no one did it. But anyway, that was like a minor gripe. For the most part, I think it was good. Wasn't spectacular. It was good. Good to alright. I think if you're going through this blind, at best you'll find it alright. But if you are a fan of it and you've watched all the Hell of the content, you'll find it good, I suppose, in my opinion. And certainly if you like Hell of a Boss, you'll like this show. And if I was to choose which I preferred, which I liked more, Hell of a Boss or Hazbin Hotel, I would have to say Hell of a Boss, maybe because there's more episodes in it. But I digress. I maybe could do that as a future video, like Hell of a Boss versus Hazbin Hotel, and explain the reason why I like Hell of a Boss more. But anyway, that's all I have to say. If you watched it, comment below what you thought about Hazbin Hotel series. Did you like or didn't you? I just want your opinion. So anyway, thanks for watching, please subscribe, goodbye.